Okay. Well, hope I can get through all of this material. I'm going to talk a little bit tonight about natural law, and I'm going to talk about uh, a few other things having to do with healthcare as well as herbal remedies. And so I'm going to just try to go through a couple of things here real quick. First thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about this song that, I mean, honestly, I like the Australian group In Excess, but just know that they are incredibly demonic. And it's true. And their songs are demonic. Somebody was saying the other day on TikTok talking about Barry Manilow's songs are literally just like Mick Jagger's songs, where he speaks as if, you know, in the first person, like he is the devil. Barry Manilow did that with a lot of songs, people. I know a lot of people think he's a great guy. And I'm not saying that he isn't, but his stories are kind of telling off on him as far as his songs. I write the songs that make the whole world sing. That is definitely the devil. And then one that I run into a lot in the dance studios is Daybreak, because it's a perfect foxtrot. And you should listen to that. And you will not be surprised at all when you actually start reading the lyrics. Anyway, lots of songs like that. But it was interesting. I liked, in the 80s, I liked In Excess. I didn't know what their name meant. I mean, honestly, In XS, excess, but with an X, you know, they know who they are. They know who they are. With all their secret Masonic Illuminati crap, they know exactly who they are. But I want to read the lyrics to this song to you, because I think that this has to do with natural law. Now listen to it. It says, never tear us apart. Don't ask me what you know is true. I don't have to tell you that I love your precious heart. Let me tell you something. If you look at my last video, you will look at one of the gals that just wrote a scathing review on having a relationship for 7 years. A husband married to an O positive. And I mean, I tell you, if I could count all the times, I'm sorry, I said O negative, I meant O positive. I do that sometimes. You have to catch me. Hopefully I'll catch myself. Anyway, there's just no love between the RH negative A's, B's, and ABs, and the O's, and then the RH positives. Now, the A and B and AB positives are somehow related to the A, B, and AB negatives. Truthfully, you know how they say that a third of all the angels, a third of all the angels, a third of all the angels went with Lucifer, right? Well, that's thousands of years ago. Is there any reason to believe the number isn't up from there? If it was a third, so you know there's the O's are a third, the A's are a third, the B's are a third, roughly. What third do I belong to? I may be negative. What third do I belong to? Think about it. Some of you like to imply some things about me. You know, when I read through the comments, I see And it's okay for you to think that about me. Basically, what's here and what's here is what you need to be concerned with. See, the beast is not going to have what I have here, nor here. Let me tell you what I do all day long. I bring sunshine to people on the dance floor. And I had one of my students tell me yesterday that I am very good at de-escalating arguments between my couples. And that's true. I know I am very good at that because it doesn't do anybody any good to argue, fuss, and fight on my lessons. So I do my best to de-escalate it. And they need somebody to kind of, you know, sometimes because they can't do it themselves. So they appreciate that. Sometimes they even laugh. Anyway, I was standing, you were there. Two worlds collided. Which two worlds collided? Are we talking about the Greys and the Dracos? Did their world collide? Probably so, but that happened way before anything happened in this little circle, in this little Earth circle. Notice that we are popping up all over the place now with those circular four-way, they're not stops. They just circle and, you know, like Great Britain. They're trying to tell you that Great Britain owns the roads in this place. That's what they're trying to tell you. But look at the circles. You don't think Atlantis was a circle? Oh, yeah. Anyway, don't ask me what you know is true. Don't have to tell you I love your precious heart. Really? 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 You love the hominid people? Really? You love to deceive them. That's what you love to do. That's why there are so many A, B, and AB positives. Because you love to deceive the hominid people. The Gentiles, the pagans. Remember in the last video about mixing? The whole Bible's about nothing but that. That's it. Yet, everywhere you turn, look at an RH negative woman. Tell me that this doesn't apply to her. And they told her that they loved her, but they're in a loveless marriage. Hey, if you are an RH negative woman and you are in a loving marriage with an RH positive, particularly we want to know the blood type, if it's O, A, B, or even AB. But if you are an RH negative, first of all, you're part of a breeding program that you might have made an agreement that you don't even know about, where they lifted you out of your body, took you to a place, put the man in black light in your eye, and made you forget about it. But they have the evidence. So they're going to use it at the trial to show that you agreed to this breeding program in advance. Because remember, according to the medium Bashar, right, the Greys are literally dying out. And so they have to have our DNA, our, you know, real good RH negative DNA to keep it going. So make no mistake about it, you're in a breeding program and you're probably in a loveless marriage. Now, that said, So my father was an A negative. My mother was a B negative. I was their firstborn. I came out AB negative, which is exactly the way that it's supposed to be. Sometimes they'll get another one later on down the line. Not necessarily a replacement, but, you know, another one. It can happen. Just like Seth was for Abel. ABL. What a coincidence. The bottom line is, people, you cannot take advantage of hominid people in this way. You can't do it. Let's see what they say. I was standing there. We could live for 1,000 years, but if I hurt you, I'd make wine from your tears. What does that mean? Who cares about your wine? Wine. I told you that we could fly. Now, what does he mean by flying? See, remember when the Anunnaki showed up here, they had their little wings. Ooh, ooh, we're bird people. Look, we're gods. We can fly. You can't. But what are they really talking about? They're talking about lifting you out of your body so that you can go and astral project. Robert Monroe, who was a CIA PSYOP, got an institute, what was it, semisonic or semisync, sorry. They've released the papers on that now, where they got the little covers and the eyes, on your eyes, they've got lights blinking to hypnotize you, to help you so when you fall asleep, you can jump, you can fly. What was that? Ezekiel 13:20. Yeah, I'm against those that teach my people to fly. Anyway, he's saying here, I told you that we could fly because we all have wings. Oh, so we can fly, huh? Well, we are tethered by our soul to our flesh body. But what happens when we leave and we come home? And there's demons there. By the way, I put a great little short movie on the last video with Marissa Tomei and Minnie Driver. I would recommend everybody see it. If you didn't watch my links, you're really missing out. Thoughtful intent is put in to the links that I put up on my websites. And it's a lot of extra work for me to do. But I'm happy to do it. But not if you're not going to look at them. So please go back and look at all my links. Anyway, let's continue. It says, I was standing there, two worlds collided, and they could never, ever tear us apart. Yep, there you go. That's the song. What a great song, because it's got all the devilish, you know, notes in there that make you want to listen to it. You know, B.J. Thomas, you know, was drowning out in the, I don't know, I guess the Pacific. And, you know, he said, you know, if I, you know, survive this day drowning, I will dedicate my life to, you know, what ended up being Allah. But the point is that in his little interview that he did, he said if the devil set up a business, his first business would be the music business. And, you know, certainly many of the stars in that business felt that way. Look what they did to Whitney Houston and her daughter. I mean, it's just a disgrace. But there are many people, Jimi Hendrix, many people dying the same way. It's like a signature. Anyway, we'll talk about natural law, because natural law is the law of the universe. When we say legal, legal is a word that isn't lawful. That is statutory. And we can't call it statutory law because it's not law. It's a false law. It's the devil's law. Let's look at it. It's based upon maritime law. That's Inky. If there ever was a person that represents the sea, who is the Lord of the sea? Inky, right? Anyway, so really in the end, all of these agreements that they think that they have with us so that they can treat us this way, none of this is legal, nor is it lawful. It's not only not lawful, it's not legal either. So how they think that they can get away with this is way beyond me. But you definitely want to protest about it. I talk out loud all the time, continual, protesting, not just the doctors and their shenanigans, not just the churches and their shenanigans, not just the educational institutions and their shenanigans, not just the military industrial complex and their shenanigans, not just the government and their shenanigans. I constantly complain about all of it. I say what I think, and I say it out loud. Anybody that's there in the corner, in the shadows, can hear exactly what I'm saying, and that's okay with me. I do not love the devil like Dr. Sebi did. Dr. Sebi loved him because his answer was, the devil asked him, why do you tell people you love me? This is what Dr. Sebi said. He met him in Chicago. I'm guessing that was Obama. But, lightning falling from heaven. Barack Obama, give me a break. Like lightning from heaven. Goodness gracious, you people it's just a story. Yeah, it'll probably seem like it's really real, but it's just their stupid story. Really. Nay means nay. Just remember that. So anyway, it says, let's start with some simple definitions. A law is an existing condition that is binding, immutable, fixed and cannot be changed. Natural is inherent in nature, truth and reality. It is not made or caused by humans. Unnatural is abnormal, contrary to the ordinary course of nature, and is not living in nature. See, that would be like all them institutions that I just mentioned. So how they think that they will ever get away with this, I'll never know. And you don't need Jesus or Yahweh to save you from them. That's like asking the mafia, for protection. Why are you going to do that? The mafia is who's already caused you the trouble to begin with. Don't be stupid, people. Don't be stupid. Artificial is made or produced by human beings. That artificial is correct. All Inky is a human being, rather than occurring naturally, especially as a copy of something in nature. Instinct is an inherited inclination of a living organism towards a particular complex behavior. Natural law is therefore an existing condition that is inherent in nature, truth and reality, and is binding, immutable, fixed, and cannot be changed. There you go. That's natural law. What is natural law theory? Natural law is knowable through experience, observation, logic, reason, and intuition. All human beings have certain needs, behaviors, rights, morals, responsibilities that are objective, inherent, and therefore binding to all. They apply to everyone, everywhere in the same way. In other words, these over here don't get away with murder and chaos and stealing and ruining another's health. None of it. You don't get away with that, okay? You better repent, and if you hadn't done it yet, it might be too late. They exist within us. Natural law theory attempts to define natural law and natural instinctive human behavior through morality and human law. Natural law theory goes back to the time of Plato and Aristotle, ancient Rome and Greek philosophy. Okay. Some of the beast groups, especially the Romans, Edomites, I have a book right here that describes them that way, is referred to in the various forms in most religions and more modern philosophies. It has existed throughout human history. The problem is when human beings try to define something that is objective, it will always be filtered through the subjective perspective of the individual. See, this is why I want you to watch the Anunnaki rock opera, because you can literally see them in the middle, or reading the Lost Book of Enki. You can literally see them making bad decisions all through it based on their significantly self-centered position. Okay? They're not thinking about us. They're not thinking about the people, in as much as they only want to control them and have them worship them. It will always be tainted by the individual perspectives, values, culture, and beliefs of the one trying to define it. This is why we don't care who's trying to define it. It only matters what the creator of all beginning has set out for us. This is where it is in me. It's written in my heart, you see. I'm not going to give that to an archon. I'm not going to say that archons are teaching me, okay? Because whenever I hear an archon talking in this realm, I hear lies. You want to be taught by an archon? Go ahead. A spirit? Go ahead. You have a connection if you can get past, your rat poison that they put in the water to calcify it. What I do and what I think. Do you understand? That's how it works. Nature and needs, driving natural law, and the instinctive human behaviors are human needs. Beings act and behave in natural and indistinctive ways that meet our individual and collective needs. A need is something necessary for survival. You cannot live without and is required to maintain life and an internal state of well-being. In the 40s, Abraham Maslow defined 5 core human needs, which include physiological, security, esteem, social, and self-actualizations needs. These needs are very much focused on the physical form without so much consideration of our ethereal self. In the 1960s and 1970s, cognitive and aesthetic needs were added. Today we understand who and what we are beyond just our temporal form, to include our ethereal self and how we relate to other people and other things. From this most holistic perception, our needs can be broken down into 7 categories that align with Maslow's needs to and expand beyond them. They include physical, biological, and physical needs. Focus on 2 key outcomes to survive at an individual and a collective level. Emotional safety and quality of life needs. How safe our physical body feels in the world determines how we feel. When we feel unsafe, we experience emotions of fear, anger, shame, or guilt. Once we feel safe, we can increase our physical quality of life to move out of survival emotions and generate higher frequency emotions of happiness, peace, and calm. See, they're trying to manipulate us into these lower based feelings, emotions. Mental, cognitive, or psychological needs refer to the ability to mentally understand and make sense of our eternal world and the reality we experience. Relational social needs require us to interact with external people and things to help us understand the world and reality related to ourselves. Soul esteem needs. Soul esteem needs require us to know and experience who and what we are beyond the human form as a unique soul, an aspect of source consciousness. Higher self-actualization needs include realizing personal potential growth, self-fulfillment, and peak experiences and achievements, pursuing goals, and most importantly, finding and fulfilling the intended purpose we were created for. Spiritual transcendence needs require us to understand and know we are a part of something much bigger, greater, and whole. Meeting our human needs is what drives instinctive human behavior and the natural law. So I could go on here, and I likely will with various videos that I will do. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that for you to ponder over right now. So this is Liz Watt. So if you're looking to find the material and where that came from, Lizwatt, Liz Watt. You can look her up online just like I did, and you can read her material. Here's examples of natural law. Now pay attention, because again, some of these are borderline, okay? Let's look. We shall not take away the life of any creature for your pleasure, nor for your profit, nor yet torment it. That seems reasonable. You don't torment anyone else, and you don't have to worry about being tormented. Seems like a fair trade to me. Ye shall not steal any goods, or steal the goods of any, or gather lands and riches to yourselves beyond your need or use. That is an outstanding form of natural law right there. Why would you want to lay up riches? Because you are retarded. And we all know it now. So all you that are looking for your inheritances and all that, now we know who you are. Okay, you're part of the masses that don't have the sense to get out of the rain. You'll step on somebody else's neck like there's no tomorrow. You shall not eat flesh, nor drink the blood of any slaughtered creature, nor yet anything which bringeth disorder to your health or senses. So you better stop eating natural flavors, because that's got aborted fetus brains in it. And that's how you get kuru, people. Stop eating it. If you didn't know that, now you know. You're going to get, what is it? Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. What is that? That's dementia. Kuru. Mad cow. Whatever you want to call it. Here we go, ladies. Ye shall not make impure marriages where love and health are not, nor yet corrupt yourselves, or any creature made pure by the holy. Ye shall not bear false witness against any, nor willfully deceive any by a lie to hurt them. Whoa, whoa. There's going to be a lot of people going down for that one. Ye shall not do unto others as you would not that others should do unto you. All of that seems reasonable. Now, ye shall worship one eternal. It says here, Father, Mother. That's assuming that he is Father, Mother in heaven. Now, could he very well be? Absolutely. You know, I used to teach people a lot. I don't like to talk about ABs very much anymore because, you know, people get the wrong idea of what I'm saying. But I used to say that if Eve was bone of my bone, that it would have been understood, not the Anunnaki, not, you know, Adamu, because he had a different wife, Lilith, right? But I'm talking about the rightful wife of the hominid would have been A and B. And that's what I've been saying for years. So, is it based on this? Is it possible that the one eternal is both father and mother? Yeah. I think so. Of whom are all things, and reverence the holy name. Now, we don't know what the holy name is. We know it's not Yahweh, and we know it's not Jesus. Anybody that thinks it is has not done their homework, nor have listened to the homework that I have done for you. That is not it. And really, according to this, we're not required to call him anything more than a father or a father-mother, just depending on your point of view. Ye shall revere your fathers and mothers on the earth whose care is for you. Is that true? Yes. And all the teachers of righteousness. Now, it doesn't say Jesus. It says all the teachers of righteousness. What do you have to do to qualify to be a teacher of righteousness? Well, number one, you cannot be a wolf in sheep's clothing. In other words, you can't be eating others, dead things. That's the number one requirement. Now, once you get there, then it's understanding what's written in your heart. Were they all perfect? Probably not. But they all came pretty close to explaining this correctly. Okay? This is a good example. No, it is not Jesus that did this. And no, it is not Yahweh that did this. These are righteous teachers who did this. Ye shall cherish and protect the weak, and those who are oppressed, and all teachers that suffer, all creatures that suffer wrong. That's reasonable. You shall work with your hands the things that are good and seemly. So shall ye eat the fruits of the earth and live long in the land. Now, is that always something sweet? No. Because if it's got a seed in it and it grows on a vine or a tree, it's a fruit. It has to have its seed within it. Ye shall purify yourselves daily. Now, here's where I have the problem. I do not base the calendar on 7 days, people. I do not base it on 7. I base it that, yes, okay, so, you're going to get a day of rest, okay? Well, the Essenes kept that on Wednesdays, just so you know. The Muslims keep it on Friday. The Jews keep it on Saturday. And the Christians keep it on Sunday. What does it matter, people? Our festivals have to do with the season for planting. That's it. That's all it's about. Don't make it into something that it's not. Okay? No. To say that there are 7 days, no. There could easily be 10. And our numeral system is based upon 10s, not 7s. And you'll say, well, there's 365 days. Well, there's a quarter, a quarter, a quarter, and a quarter that are to be counted as a 0 day. Do you understand? And then the 0 point between the end and the beginning of the year. 360 is what the degrees in a circle, okay? With your 4 points and then your 1 in the middle, which is exactly the way that the earth is shaped, okay? And the sun and the moon have to travel in that. Do you understand? Those are the seasons. Anyway, so much for that. You shall do unto others as ye would want others to do unto you. Let's leave it there. It's well spoken. Not interested in the 7 days, but I could certainly purify myself on daily. And I could certainly have a day of rest. I don't know that it needs to be the same day of the week. From labor, a day of rest is good. Keeping holy the Sabbaths. Well, first of all, what does this word holy mean? In the festivals of your God. I don't have a God. I have a creator of all beginning. That's it. Ye shall not do to others as ye would that others should do to you. They had to put it in there twice because some people just don't get it. Got to say it this way and that way. See how that works? Let's jump right in. That's natural law, closest thing that I've ever seen to it. How the Flexner report hijacked natural medicine. This is from April 2020. Read time is supposed to be 11 minutes. Says Abraham Flexner was not a doctor but a school teacher and an educational theorist from Louisville, Kentucky. In 1910, he published the medical education in the United States and Canada, known as the Flexner Report, which elevated the importance of German educational methods in the teaching of medicine. So this would be archonic, because that's what the Anunnaki were. Remember, all angels are archonic. In other words, like Michael is an archangel, or an arch is strategy. In other words, he's the general of all the nations. He's the top murderer, because he's the one that makes the decisions about who gets killed and who gets to live another day. Not interested in that. There is a connection between the robber barons and medicine. John Rockefeller, we all know, Andrew Carnegie, and others saw this as a progression of peddling pharmaceuticals, which began as a byproduct of oil refinement. Does anybody really know what oil truly is? Is it the blood of the earth? I've heard some people talking about that. There were no real effective governmental agencies in place monitoring the state of affairs within the medical community. So what Flexner did, at the behest of the robber barons. If you are a robber baron, you are a thief. But a very high mafia thief. Because you're a baron. Like Marduk's retarded children. He did so in favor of profits rather than the long-term care of patients. He effectively created a culture that enabled the monetization of medicine. Boy, if that isn't the root of all evil, I don't know what is. Drugs are created to treat symptoms and only rarely treat the actual cause. Plus, drugs create their own symptoms, sometimes requiring additional drugs to offset their ill effects. We live in a quick fix culture where we crave immediate gratification. No, we don't crave nothing but to be cared for properly using the model of natural law that I've been explaining to you. For the most part, medicine has become tone deaf to the oath it claims to uphold. the Hippocratic Oath. We believe Flexner paved the way for this overthrow of the whole body health by making scientific research and training alone the only desirable and creditable approach to human wellness. Makes sense to me. If you ever wondered how modern day medicine got to where it is today, you should begin by learning about Abraham Flexner. He's probably one of the most influential men no one has ever heard of. In 1910, he published the book-length report, Medical Education in the United States and Canada, which is now known as the Flexner Report. And the rest, as they say, is history. Abraham Flexner was not a doctor, but his school teacher, an educational theorist from Louisville, Kentucky, has had a more significant impact on modern medicine than just about anyone else. So what Flexner did was to attempt to align medical education under a set of norms that emphasize laboratory research and the patenting of medicine, both of which would serve to further enrich the estates of the entrepreneurs who funded Flexner's 1910 report. John Rockefeller, Andrew Carnegie, and others. Sounds like a win-win, right? Well, not exactly. In fact, chances are that if Flexner had not submitted his report that audited medical schools in the United States and Canada, we would not have a society heavily biased in favor of many inhumane and unnatural medical practices that we have today. Now, that's not natural law, people. So I'm giving you an example of what is and what isn't. So you won't have no excuses for later. Should there have been more accountability for medical practitioners in North America? Probably. Should that accountability have come from the oil industry and others who saw the domination of medicine as a way to amass wealth? That seems to be a conflict of interest, to put it mildly. Dr. Thomas P. Duffy in Yale Journal of Biology and Medicine offered this analysis of Flexner's approach. There was a maldevelopment in the structure of medical education in America in the aftermath of the Flexner Report. The profession's infatuation with the hyper-rational world of German medicine created an excellence in science that was not balanced by comparative excellence in clinical caring. Flexner's corpus was all nerves without the lifeblood of caring. Osler's warning that the ideal medicine would change as teacher and student chased each other down the fascinating road of research, forgetful of those wider interests to which a hospital must minister, has proven precedence and wise. But it isn't the sort of what you'd expect when an evil genius, an intellect, no compassion like Rockefeller determines the future of the medical education and care. Of course not. It is not just the research that modern medicine is after. While notoriety for the latest breakthrough certainly drives most medicine, money is the ultimate determiner of access and ability to treatments. And getting back to the connection between the robber barons of medicine, why did Rockefeller et al. Have such an interest in the medical education? One possible reason could have been their interest in peddling pharmaceuticals that began as a byproduct of oil refinement. That means people, literally, oil is in all their drugs. Literally. And by the way, it's in most of your food today. Health journalist S.D. Wells notes the ebook 25 Amazing and Disturbing Facts About the Hidden History of Medicine. 52 years ago, a man named Abraham Flexner was hired by John D. Rockefeller to elevate the effectiveness of therapies being taught by medical colleges and institutions with the ultimate goal of dominating control over pharmaceuticals. You know what? My father wanted me to be a doctor like him. I actually went to a year of pre-med college before I landed in the dance industry. Actually, I landed in them at the same time, but it took me a little while to get a job and start earning. Just for the record, my father got out of his field, optometry, because he decided that none of his patients were getting better. And yet, my clients, students, they continue to get better every time they show up. Hand. What I do with my hand, okay? What I teach, what I share. Now, granted, I can't help that the most of the music is demonic, but we don't dance around lewd and lascivious, I can tell you that, not in the ballroom dance world. And look, the foreigners have come in and they've made it look like something nobody really wants to do. Talking about international style of ballroom dancing, like on Dancing with the Stars. Nobody really wants to dance that way. I know I don't. It's a poser fest, okay? But there are ways you can dance for health. And you can dance for joy. And you can dance till your endorphins and bioendorphins are swimming around in your brain. And you get into the zone like Michael Jordan might have done. Anyway, with partnerships including Andrew Carnegie and J.P. Morgan, a new doorkeeper would exist to influence legislative bodies on state and federal levels to create regulations and licensing red tape that strictly promoted drug medicine while stifling and shutting down alternative, inexpensive, natural remedies. Those medical colleges and institutions that did not submit to this superpower of regulation were crushed and put out of business. The Flexner report was conveniently titled Medical Education in the United States and Canada, and the 22-page control mechanism was more or less Teamster Union and medical schools in the U.S. were cut in half by a Flexner report in less than 15 years, from 160 to 80, and then down to 70 by World War II. This concentrated control is the direct cause of the majority of problems with health care today. Now, don't even get me started on Obamacare. If you are on Obamacare, just know that you have given them the authority unknowingly to put a chip in you. Why do you think that they went with the vaccine? because you already gave your authority. I don't have health insurance, nor do I ever intend to have a doctor touch me again unless I break something and I need to have it set, or unless I need to have an operation. But I'm not planning on needing one of those. Now, I will have to deal with my dental situation at some point. But right now, I'm just letting it take its course and letting the mercury fall out of my mouth. And then I will deal with it later. Flexner elevated the importance of medical research to the status near infallibility as he helped import the Institute German educational methods in the teaching of medicine. Now, what does that tell you right there? Why are we following the Germans anywhere? People say to me all the time, oh, because they're brilliant. Are you kidding me? You can't be serious. What is brilliant about them? The fact that they commiserate with demons through the Viril Society? Hello, people. This brought many needed improvements to medical students' practical field experience through hands-on learning, but it also built a strong bias in favor of empirical science, i.e. pharmaceutical drugs, to the exclusion of whole patient care or any of the more natural treatment options. Sound familiar? Have you ever experienced this in your journey of medical care? A doctor who threw you a bottle of science while only skimming the surface of your overall health. Flexner helped pave the way for a medical monopoly that persists to this day. Modern medicine has become such a systemic force that none of this is really shocking to you, right? Of course, drugs are patented. Of course, they're expensive and controlled by a select group of companies and governmental agencies. And of course, we can't use plants as medicines. That's quackery. Famous Jubilees 10. Yahweh let Mastema talk him in to not putting all the demons away. Leave 10% of them to me or I can't do my job here. Talking to Yahweh. What is the Flexner report? Turn to the century technologies such as the automobile and the airplane were capturing the imaginations of Americans, and respect was growing for specialists in every field. In this frenzy for the latest and greatest, the door was wide open for how new technology might improve our lives in every way. So why not also give our health over to science and technology and see if they can also improve and lengthen our lives? Well, fudge sickle. Well, that didn't happen. Did you know if you die in a hospital, the hospital gets $49,000, especially if they put COVID as your reason for death? Yeah, they're still doing it. This proverbial search for the fountain of youth that seems to emerge in different ways in every generation appeared in the form of medical advances in the early 1900s. So when educational theorists and celebrity Abraham Flexner caught the attention of the American aristocracy, who saw advances in education as a way to build their empire, they, Rockefeller, Carnegie, et al., approach Flexner. Rockefeller's goal was to dominate the oil, chemical, and pharmaceutical markets. So his company, Standard Oil of New Jersey, isn't there a place called Babylon? There in just outside of New Jersey? Yeah, I think there is. Purchased a controlling interest in a huge German drug company called IG Farben. Ty Bollinger said Hans Reusch, Rothschild, Eruschkigel, also drew the connection between this and the need for an educational component. So the stage was set for the education of the American public with a view to turning it into a population of drug and mediocre dependence with early help of the parents and the schools, then with directing advertising, and last but not least, the influence of advertising revenues had on the media makers. It makes sense that if you are going to make products that alleviate symptoms, but that are potentially dangerous and that could create dependency, then you should create professionals who can help mitigate some of the life-threatening effects while also extolling the benefits. Obviously, there are plenty of highly trained doctors who aren't interested in helping fuel the pharmaceutical propaganda machine, but there is a system in place that virtually ensures that we will take the bait. Is Cancer Tutor anti-science? Cancer Tutor is not anti-science. Anti-medicine website, one of our roles through, though, is to challenge assumptions and the status quo. Just because a lot of really smart people had done the same thing for decades doesn't mean that they're doing the right things. Galileo would agree with us on this. So, how do we let this happen? Oh, I will read the Hippocratic Oath and then I'm going to move on. So, the Hippocratic Oath is thus: I swear to fulfill to the best of my ability and judgment this covenant. I swear this covenant. I swear it. I will respect hard-won science gains of those physicians in whose steps I walk, and gladly share such knowledge as is mine with those who are to follow. I will apply for benefit of the sick all measures which are required, avoided those twin traps of overtreatment and therapeutic nihilism. I will remember that there is art to medicine as well as a science, and that warmth, sympathy. Oh, brother, are you kidding me? Really? And understanding may outweigh the surgeon's knife or the chemist's drug. I will not be ashamed to say, I know not. Nor will I fail to call in my colleagues when the skills of another are needed for a patient's recovery. I will respect the privacy of my patients, for their problems are not disclosed to me that the world may know. Most especially must I tread with care in matters of life and death. Above all, I must not play God. I will remember that I do not treat a fever chart, a cancerous growth, but a sick human being whose illness may affect the person's family and economic stability. My responsibility includes these related problems if I am to care adequately for the sick. I will prevent disease. I will remember that I remain a member of society with special obligations to all my fellow human beings, and those of sound mind and body as well as infirm. If I do not violate this oath, may I enjoy life and art respected while I live and remembered with affection thereafter. May I always act so as to preserve the finest traditions of my calling, and may I long experience the joy of healing those who may seek my help. You know what? You better repent, you doctors, because you're going to have a lot to answer for when this is over. A lot. And let's not fail to understand why I don't carry health insurance. It's because I can't go to the naturopath doctor that I want to go to. So I just pay out of pocket because, you see, you're railroading me. See how that works? Who owns cancer patents? Most of these patents are owned by the government, and the technologies are available for licensing from National Cancer Institute Technology Transfer Center. Can cancer drugs be patented? In the United States, a biological drug that is important for treating cancer or autoimmune disease, for example, can benefit from 20 years of patent protection and an additional 4 years of data exclusivity and 8 years of market exclusivity, resulting in a guarantee of a total of 12 years of market exclusivity. You know what? If you didn't have your little rules about patents, we would literally get the health care we want from herbs for a reasonable price. You know, you suck is what you are. You suck. Okay? You're the lowest form of person there is. And yes, you are playing God, because knowing that you are wrong, you still practice this. Knowing that we know now, you still continue to do this. Get whatever reap sow that you've got coming. We will learn to live our lives by what we see happens to you. And that's one way to learn. And it's in the book of Revelation, you know, with the devil, the beast, the false prophet, and all their followers. Right? What are the 4 examples of what cannot be patented? For example, the laws of nature. Physical phenomenon, abstract ideas cannot be patented, nor can only an idea or suggestion. Other restrictions include the patenting of inventions exclusively related to nuclear material or atomic energy in an atomic weapon. Oh, how interesting is that? What is radiation? The difference between a patent and a copyright. A patent protects the inventions and new processes. Copyright protects original works of authorship and artistic works in a tangible form. In other words, let's say that you are Syntax, a former branch of Pepsi-Cola, and it comes up before the President of the United States, and he agrees to protect your secret recipes of aborted fetuses and baby brains causing Kuru and mad cow and, you know, dementia in humans, because Yahweh says he's going to feed your children to you. That's what he said. Who published and unpublished original works qualify for copyright protection. Who patented chemotherapy? Paul Ehrlich, founder of chemotherapy and pioneer of hematology, immunology, and oncology. Madame Curie. In 1898, Polish physicist Marie Curie, and her French chemist husband, Pierre, discovered radium, which led to a better understanding of how radiation can both cause and treat cancer. Curie believed that ionizing radiation would be used as a weapon against cancer, and her work led to the development of radiotherapy, which is now a key component in cancer treatment. What ownership is Cancer Research? Cancer Research UK, a company limited by guarantee and a registered charity, they always have their charities, is governed by a council of trustees, the charity's board of directors. Does Cancer Research have liability? Cancer Research UK will not be liable for any direct, indirect, or consequential damages, even if the foreseeable, whether based on a contract, tort, or otherwise to the fullest extent permitted by the law. Will cancer ever be cured? Now listen to this. This is what it says. It says, for cancer that is treatable but not curable, advances in treatment could transform cancer into a long-term health condition. In addition, there are some justifiable excitement about vaccines. So yes, we will cure some cancers, but we won't cure the concept of cancer. Now here's what Donald Marshall says. Donald Marshall says HIV, AIDS has been cured. So have many forms of cancer. Now is also a good time to share with the reader that this situation is not all doom and gloom. In their quest to perfect technology, science, and medicine, the Illuminati discovered the cure for HIV, AIDS, and cancer, except pancreatic cancer, which is, I'm dealing with that with a diabetes natural cure I'm looking at, which I'll try to get to if I can. They relayed the fact that they found the cure for HIV, AIDS by stimulating the cells with an oxygenated, rich environment, because disease virus cannot thrive in an oxygenated, rich environment. In layman's terms, Magic Johnson was cured from AIDS this way, and they use him as a spokesperson to sell the retrovirus pills, which they know is not as effective. However, the greed of these people have known no bounds. And because they receive too many donations for HIV and AIDS as well as cancer, donations they do not announce they have cured HIV and cancer publicly. You get what I'm saying? They will never, ever come up with a cure for cancer as long as you keep donating to them. They make more money on donations than they do on the disease. As I have told you and will continue to tell you, technology is far, far, far advanced than what you currently see around you. See, we're in this little circle, okay? But you see all these other places out here that they've colonized? They've used the same tricks. The same tricks on all these people in all these circles. You see how it works? They're colonizers of the highest degree. We will never get cures for this. You'll be able to teach yourself the proper cures. If you're lucky enough to get one of them that will tell the truth about herbs and process herbs properly, but that's it. You must hold me to this. It is time we ended corrupt governments and corrupt individuals in high positions of power in this world. Hold me to this. So Anu comes in here and swears on his mother's soul that all of this corruption will be gone. Well, but you still got the same problem of the same bastards running this place. It will never be okay until they are gone. There is no change in their minds. They've done too much here. You see what they're capable of, and that they at some point wooed us, like the song said. I read it to you at the beginning of this. They wooed us into this false sense of security, and now they stick it to us. Okay. So let me cover this before I finish. This is the 8 of the 9 herbs in the Eternal Tonic showed anti-tumor activity in controlled laboratory animal tests. 5 showed antioxidant properties as protectants against cancer. All showed antimicrobial properties with activity against viral and bacterial infections. That formula contained, listen up. Now, I've got lots that I've given on this before. So this is the Hoxie cure. This is the quack that cured cancer. This is the guy that literally beat the American Medical Association. He beat the crap out of them in court. Yeah, back in the what, 40s, 50s? He beat the crap out of them. He sent them packing. They didn't know what to do about him, so the feds came in and sued him in 10 different states because he had clinics in 10 different locations. He was curing people of cancer. Think about it. Yeah. Well, you can't fight in 10 different states, so he packed up and he moved to Tijuana, Mexico. I got an address I'll give you at the end of this. Anyway, here is his cure for cancer that he saw, his grandfather saw, when he had horses that got cancer and tumors, and he put them out to pasture, and he just simply watched what they ate. So the animals are, once again, the best teachers. Okay? Barberry, burdock root, Cascara sagrada, licorice root, poke root, prickly ash, red clover blossoms, Stellingia root in a water base with potassium iodide. I got mine from the aquarium store. By the way, 4 herbs, and you can check this, and if I'm wrong, I'll be happy to admit it, because the SEAC tea changes, based on updates and, other recipes. But, there are many recipes that are good. Certainly some will be better than others. But this is what I've got for SEAC tea, which is the woman in Canada who cured cancer, that got it from the Native Americans, Hello? They could be your teachers too. 4 herbs in Essiac tea were sheep sorrel, burdock root. Oh, look here. What do we got right here? What's that say right there? Well, it doesn't quite focus in. But that's burdock root. Hawthorn berries. Organic hawthorn berries. Bitter melon. Bitter melon. And cat's claw. You know, all of them that I just read off to you, let's see, barberry, prickly ash, just depends on which list you read from, poke, there's my potassium iodide. Saw palmetto. Red clover. Buckthorn. All of these are for cancer. Licorice. Queen's root. Cascara. Oh, and another burdock. So I just want you to know that Theo practices what he preaches. I bought these for my wife when she got cancer. She never took it. She used to call it my craziness. So she wasn't buying into that. But I told her, had she taken it, she would not have had to have her breast reduction. Oh, and here's the teas. Let's see. Slippery elm. The name of this one is covered. Sorry about that. Oh, this is Chancapidra, which is whenever you get gallstones or kidney stones. And it does work. These teas are amazing. Willow bark, which is like aspirin. Licorice root. Rhubarb root. Pau d'Arco. And these are just a few, okay, of my teas. Just a few of my teas. So I don't want you to think that when I talk about these subjects, that I'm just going to the internet and reading it off. I'm living it, people. I live it. So there you go. And by the way, also I didn't get a chance to show you my wormwood with black walnut and black walnut, and cloves, because you got to have cloves. The cloves are what get the eggs. And my favorite all time, Lactobacillus salivarius. And I do brush my teeth with them, and I also take them. Okay? So, yes, I do put the Lactobacillus salivarius in my bod, because I believe that that's what they made unleavened bread with. I love my eucalyptus and menthol drops from Lidl's, but you can, if you don't have a Lidl's, you can order this on Alibaba from Germany. Just because I don't take their medicine doesn't believe that I don't like their cough drops. If you're taking a lot of this, let me just say this. If you take this, put it right there under your tongue. After you've done that, a nice mint would be great. You've taken a lot of medicine. A little bit of sugar isn't going to kill you. Okay. Now, I did do a study right now all over the internet, especially TikTok. So what's going on there is everybody, I mean everybody, from Barbara O'Neill to all your naturopaths on their sites, they're advertising a new cure for diabetes. You go and you listen to a audio of it. But here's what they're talking about, this metavanadate. That's the new thing, metavanadate. And it's also connected with berberine, just so you know. Berberine I have and I use. It's time for me to get some more because I use it. You do not have to take these supplements every day, same combination every day. You do not have to do that. I know they recommend that you do, but make sure that you get the non-chemical type, the kind that's being made in a lab. Get the kind that's being done right. There's a couple of other things in this diabetes, and it's white mulberry, Indian gurmar, and Kamaphora malku. So that was this particular recipe. They did have some things in it, some other herbs, but they didn't want to tell you what they were, so they're keeping those to themselves. These are the main ones. And, you know, I always write on the back of my checkbooks, I write whatever it is that I'm interested in. And, you know, I've one of the things I wanted to cover with you is this. One of them was selenium for cancer. Well, we all know that there was a naturopath doctor that sued the crap out of the American Medical Institution for the right to say that selenium does cure cancer. So just remember, I'm giving you names of things that if it affects okay, if it affects diabetes, it affects heart disease. If it affects heart disease, it affects cancer. It's all related, people. It's all parasites. It's just that simple. You will never get rid of all your parasites by treating them with wormwood or ivermectin, which is basically the same thing. You will at some point have to fast. I'm just telling you. That's what's coming. Now, I fasted for long times. Once I did 26 days in a row. That's the most I've ever done. Now, I did in a 60-day period, I fasted, I want to say, a little more like just right at 50, okay? Not quite 50, okay? So I ate for 10 days out of 60. But I didn't do all my eating at one time. Obviously, I put it over a period of time. I lost a bunch of weight, and I know for a fact that I got healthier. I'm still working on other things, like, for example, I put, castor oil on my eyes, just like Barbara O'Neill says. And if I wanted to, I could take DMSO and put it on there and have them go deeper into my eyes, and I eventually will do that. Yeah, I'm not afraid of it. In fact, I have a book in this big bag of books over here, which I'm about to sort out, that literally is on the subject of DMSO, one of the experts on the subject, teaching about it. So my point is that there are many natural herbal remedies that you can use. I'm not making any claims. I'm just telling you, because I didn't have cancer. I didn't have diabetes. I didn't have, suspected maybe diabetes at some point. I did have some neuropathy in my feet. I take the Epsom salt baths with the borax. I drink the borax. I drink baking soda. I drink sea salt. And I don't use that Himalayan salt. I'll eat the Redmond and I'll eat the Celtic salt. But it's not the only salts that I will take. I like it, Celtic, because it has more than one form of magnesium in it. I really like the magnesium products, and I have rubbed them on my feet and gotten some, benefits from that. I believe the name of the company, it's in a blue container, whether it be a squeeze or, a pour. Ancient is the name of it, Ancient Magnesium, I believe. And I highly, recommend it, because once I went to probably an event that I should not have gone to, and I got a flare-up of a Achilles, the thing that you wear the boot for, the heel. and I got literally in one night, I got, the thing that you get on your heel, that no one knows when it's going to go away. It just goes away when it wants to. I put the DMSO and the ancient version. One of these days I'll pull it out and show it to you. But right now it's in my bathroom. I'll pull out the ancient version of magnesium that is from an underwater lake. It's under, it's under the land. It's an underwater lake that is, not, you have to go into a cave in order to get into it. Anyway, long story short, that night it went away. Gone, 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 gone. And every once in a while I get something like that that will happen to me. It's worth it. This is one of the best things for inflammation there is out there. Infla 650. I'm going to tell you right now that it had, oh, I'm not going to be able to see this. Wait a minute. Okay, my phone is dead. But, uh-oh, wait a minute. Came back. ashwagandha. I'll have to see if I'm going to be able to see this. I might not. Yeah, here we go. Ashwagandha, shatavanari, cabbage seed, fenugreek seed, papali, guduchi, shilajit, gokshura, and sunthi. And I'm going to tell you this right now. It works. For me, you know, I know people that take this every day. I only take it when I need it. And it is guaranteed to work on me. So you can look online where to buy it. I like it from the Vitamin Depot, but there are other places you can get it from Amazon now. Anyway, I highly recommend it. If you're having pains and inflammations, you know, when I dance, sometimes I teach women that are pretty strong, not, you know, I'm talking about not young women that are very, very strong. And the way that I try to do it is I teach them how to dance under their own balance and control. But if I have to push them around, which I try not to do, but if I have to, you know, I'll feel it in my joints. So it makes it better for me if I don't have to push so hard. You know, to keep them on time, or just to keep them, you know, where I'm wrangling them around the floor, because some of the dances are slow, but many of them are faster. So, you know, keeping up with it is, you know, something that is not always easy the first, you know, time you do it. So you have to learn how to be light on your feet and easy to dance with. And so, you know, but every once in a while I have one of them days, and so I will take Infla, and usually not have to take it again for sometimes several weeks. Anyway, that is my story for today. Thank you very much for your time and your attention, and I will look forward to the next time we can talk. Harry Hoxsey, the quack that cured cancer. Wow. To this day, you can go to his clinic in Tijuana, run by his, you know, nurse helper. And you can, if you can't afford to pay for the services, they will treat you for free. Anyway, I said I would give that. I have to give it to you another time. Thank you very much. Hope you have a great day and a great week and a great weekend. Thank you. And I'll be back this weekend. Thank you very much.